The next phase of the construction was to add tracks coming out of the track down below on the right by the station, bringing it around two 90-degree turns and raising it up as it went back into the mountains at the top of the diagram here. In the first photograph, we see the start of the construction with several pieces of styrofoam cut and glued together. The floor and a back piece were glued together, and then 4 ribs were placed of varying heights were placed to support the track. The back piece was cut to fit to follow the contours of the first part of the railroad, and then the track was laid on another piece of styrofoam. You can see here the start of a road coming out of down from the town. You can also see the 2 power bus lines coming around and the wires going up to the track. In this second photo, I've added a piece of foam to form the surround piece. At the corners, it was notched at a 1/2 inch spacing about halfway through the foam so that the foam would curve around there. It was glued onto the floor and the ribs and then trimmed back to fit the contours. In this photograph, the rolling hills were formed by wadding up newspapers and putting them into the box-like structure that has been made, and then plaster cloth was wet and formed over supported by the newspapers and allowed to dry, smoothed and allowed to dry. You see I've continued the road here. On the left, I've built a tunnel portal and a little bit of support with foam. Here I've painted the dried plaster cloth with my standard brown mixture and then started to texture this. I use a number of colors of Woodland Scenic products to color these, grass, dry grass, and so on. I've also textured the road with some sand basically to reproduce a gravel road. Later you'll see that I've changed this. To finish this up, I've added beginning to add the foam support to cover up the mountain. Up against the mountain, it's hard to see here, I've added some rocks and some more scenery. I put in a tunnel portal with some retaining walls, and this part of the job is pretty much done. Here's a video of a work train coming around the corner of the new track, heading down into town with a load of coal from the mines. Here's a photo of some of the materials I use for scenery. I use Woodland Scenic fine turf earth, fine turf yellow grass, fine turf green grass. For the trees and bushes, I use green clump foliage and conifer green clump foliage, which is a little bit darker. This rigid wrap plaster cloth I get from Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper, works well, and it seems to have a little more plaster embedded in it, so I really like it. So that's it for today. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Dean's N-Scale Trains.